J Balvin's music has been streamed by the billions worldwide, but the so-called prince of reggaeton says that he doesn't consider himself a superstar. In a new 60 Minutes Plus interview, Enrique Acevedo sits down with Balvin to talk more about his rise from performing in the streets of Colombia to sold-out arenas around the globe. So with more on this, we want to bring in Enrique. You're joining us from Miami. Thank you so much. So Balvin arrived in the U.S. when he was just 15 years old. And you talked a little bit about his experience working in the U.S. when he arrived. So let's play some of the sound from that interview.
This is something personal for you because you experienced the immigration system.
I used to work illegal here, yeah.
And
painting houses. Sorry. Like I remember when I used to paint houses in Tampa and Miami and Orlando, you know, working, I don't even remember what was the rate because I didn't have papers, but I've seen all these good people working hard for a good reason, working, not stealing, no robbing, no selling drugs, you know, nothing like that, just hard working, you know. They don't want to come here and destroy the country. I didn't want to do it. Just wanted to make my American dream.
Can we talk more about how Balvin chased that American dream?
Absolutely, and I love this question because it's really at the heart of who J Balvin is, Anne-Marie. And then there's two ways to answer it, how he lived his American dream and his success. You know, J Balvin, as you know, is constantly among the most streamed artists in the world. He has over 55 million monthly listeners on Spotify, just on Spotify alone, as well as a huge audience on social media with close to 90 million followers across platforms. Not bad for an artist that started his career at 14 playing in the streets of the Castilla neighborhood in Medellin, Colombia, after his father went bankrupt and he wanted to support his family. But this is not how Balvin measures success or achieving his dreams. For him, it's not about money or fame as much as it is about the creative process and the positive impact that can have in the lives of millions of people across the world. Success, he says, is staying grounded, healthy, and happy through this wild ride, and that's also a different approach to the American dream, right? It's not just about making it, but savoring the ups and downs in the process.
For sure. And you spoke to Balvin about being this global superstar. He doesn't see himself as one, but obviously those who love his music, millions of fans that he has all around the world, would probably disagree, Enrique. So he shared some of those feelings with you about how he crossed into the mainstream. I want to play some of that.
Feels like you didn't follow the traditional path into mainstream as much as you've brought mainstream into Latin music.
Yeah, you know, I wanted just to make the other way around, you know, like I wanted to, back in the days, the Latino artists used to sing in English to cross over. And I was like, no, my dream is I want people to cross over to our world, you know, and it's a big difference.
So what's the significance of hearing Spanish language music in America? You know, it's just, I think Anne-Marie and I have talked about this in the past that, you know, given the fact that, you know, we've lived in different countries outside of the United States, you start to realize that every country has unique music. I mean, I know it's self-evident, but I mean that, you know, Beyonce crosses over all over the world. People in Paris listen to Beyonce. People in Colombia listen to Beyonce. But not everybody listens to Yves Montand. If you are French, you know who Yves Montand is. But if you're an American, you might struggle to know who that person is. This is different now where we're living in 2021. Music that is international, music that's in another language is being heard here in the U.S. and it's climbing on the charts.
You're right. And by the way, Beyonce collaborated with Balvin on a song. And I think content has gone global now, and language is not that important, really. And we see it in music, we see it in other forms of entertainment. But I think also younger generations are more evolved on issues like culture and race. And Balvin's global success, singing mostly in Spanish, is proof of that. Spanish and Latinx culture in general are ingrained in our collective identity here in the States. After all, Spanish is an American language, and I think Balvin understood this and has pursued a different path to what we call mainstream, right? Because that is also evolving. He's bringing the biggest names in the industry to Latin music as opposed to trying to make Latin music fit into the mold of what we knew as mainstream, because again, that is changing.
You know, your interview also touches on his struggles with mental health. In an upcoming film, he talks about his anxiety, depression. It may surprise a lot of people because, you know, he's on top of the world right now. What do you think, why did he feel it was important to talk about these things?
That's such a great question. I should have asked that myself during the interview, Anne-Marie. Well, you know, during the time I got to spend with him, I felt like talking about these challenges was both cathartic and also a deeper way to assume his success by trying to connect with people beyond music. Those who've known J Balvin for many years have seen how fame has taken its toll on the man born Jose Alvaro Osorio Balvin, and are supportive of the way he's decided to share his struggles. And based on the reaction that the story has gotten in the last 48 hours, actually in the last 24 hours, I do feel that by sharing his own experience with anxiety and depression, he's making a difference in people's lives and helping other people.
Very, very cool. So, Enrique, let's talk about... Sorry, go ahead, Anne-Marie.
Well, I was going to ask one more question. I was reading that one of the things that's really important for him is he's chosen not to live in the U.S. And, you know, clearly he could live anywhere in the world. Clearly he has, you know, experiences and time spent here in the U.S. But he talked about how it was really important for him to be home with his people. Did he talk about that with you?
Yes, and we actually got to meet his parents. They invited us to their home in Medellin, Colombia. And to understand J Balvin, you really have to understand his family dynamic. And I think this is a shared experience with many Latin American immigrants, and with immigrants from all over the world, as well as with, you know, people that are born here in the States. Family is such an important part of who we are. And in the case of J Balvin, it's also an important part of how he expresses his music and all of his creative process. So we really got the sense that family is at the center of everything he does. When we met his parents in their home in Medellin, and that's why he wants to spend so much time there. Although he says that you know, his girlfriend Valentina and their dog Enzo, they spend more time on an airplane than anywhere else on Earth.
Well, I love this. I mean, I love the fact that, you know, music that is in other language, music that originates in other countries is becoming increasingly popular in the U.S. It's just great that more and more people, and as you say, Enrique, that are generally younger, but, you know, old timers like me are just psyched to see it too. It's very, very cool. What else is cool is 60 Minutes Plus. So, you know, I got to say one thing that I love already about 60 Minutes Plus is that you're leaning into the 60 Minutes name. 60 and 6 was kind of cool and sort of hip, I guess, but you know, 60 Minutes is the gold standard in journalism, and the fact that your show, this entity, is now called 60 Minutes Plus is pretty cool. Is there anything that's changing from what you guys were doing at Quibi to now what it's going to be on Paramount Plus?
That's right. Well, if you're an old timer, Vlad, then that leaves me in a very tough position, you know, because I'm certainly a veteran in this circumstance. But you know, I think the best part about what we're doing now at 60 Minutes Plus is building on the legacy of storytelling and journalism that 60 Minutes has delivered for over 50 years, now 53 seasons on air, the longest running, most watched news show, not just in the US, but on the planet. And also now we have more time, which is, as you guys know, you reported on stories from around the world, and just having more time to tell a story is the ultimate luxury nowadays. So this, as you saw, the Balvin profile is around 18 minutes long. Lori's story is over 20 minutes. Seth's story about climate change in the Alps is also a longer format. So that it is really an incredible privilege, and having the resources, the time to tell these stories is really something that we're really looking forward to doing on 60 Minutes Plus.
And we're looking forward to watching. Enrique, thank you, my friend, very much. Congratulations.
Have a great weekend, guys. Thanks.
You too. You too. And be sure to stream Enrique's full interview with J Balvin right now on 60 Minutes Plus. It is on Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus is our new streaming service. It replaces CBS All Access. You can give it a try for free. We've got more than 30,000 episodes of your favorite ViacomCBS shows, thousands of your favorite movies, plus live sports and breaking news.